It's the first day of month 6.
And this month, I had one goal in mind. Get rid of as much inventory as possible and turn it into cold, hard cash. Because after those 5 full months, this stuff really started to take over my entire life.
I haven't talked about the other price that I pay.
Living with all this stuff. But luckily, month 6 was off to a great start.
So I did actually just resell smoke detectors that the guy returned and actually sold them for $10 more than he paid for them. It's crazy. My active inventory is down to under 24,000 right now. But I'm trying to get it down to 0. I'm trying to I want to put cash in my hand.
But then just a few minutes later,
I actually just sold 20 more pounds of copper wire. So I pretty much have everything all packed up. The only thing I'm lacking is 20 pounds of copper wire.
So I packed it up, and this process actually is kind of a pain to try to compact the wire into a box. But then I brought it to the post office to ship it out.
All right, just got back with this.
About a month earlier, a buyer had contacted me about a light switch I had for sale.
They seem like a pain in the ass.
And asked me if I would give them a refund if the switch didn't work. Knowing it would be a problem, I blocked the buyer, but unbeknownst to me, they bought it on a second account. When they received the switch, they immediately opened a return and then waited the full 30 days to send it back. So I inspected it, and luckily it was exactly like I sent. So I just refunded them and got them out of my life. And then later on that night,
I sold this lot of microphones. I'm gonna kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone right now. Prove that the microphones are working and test out the mixing board. Check.
And this process would have to be repeated for each of the 16 channels, along with noting any of the issues to include in the description. So yeah, it's time consuming. Check. But my plan worked well, and I was able to test both of the large mixing boards that night.
So I sold that lot of microphones yesterday. They have to be packaged up, which I'll do. And then also, just a little while ago, I sold some smoke detectors. I haven't done a packaging video in a while, or I haven't really been recording it as much. It's actually pretty simple to package these. It's gonna be bubble wrap around them and then packing paper in between, stuff this thing up good, and then we're good to go. Now that I got these tested last night, they have to be clean. Just rubbing alcohol toothbrush, old sock is a rag. The only other thing I might use on this is a plastic razor blade. They're good for like scraping off this kind of shit. I had a few extra sales today. I also sold this like little mixer. It's supposed to like 30 bucks plus shipping. Should be pretty easy. I just want to get like a little bit of video of the thing working. So such a weird day today. I got positive feedback for the mixer, PV mixer. And I punched it into Google Translate because I'm like, I want to see what this guy actually said. He wrote like all this bad about me in the Spanish in this positive feedback. So he said I'd arrived broken. And I didn't want to give him any of his money back. Be very cautious about dealing with the seller. And I'm like, that didn't happen. And also those microphones I sold the other day, he bought them. He's a repeat customer. And he's had that thing for a month, and he's telling me, said it arrived broken and that he tried to get a refund. He's just like clearly making up a story. For what benefit? I don't know. But luckily when I did go to his profile, he had quite a bit of negative feedback left. So
luckily I at least did get positive feedback. Could have been a lot worse, but I was really hoping week 2 would get a lot better than this. But unfortunately, week 2 started off super slow.
Sales are way down. So another thing I just did, promoted every single listing in my store at 2.2%.
Because this month I was using every technique I could to move as much inventory as possible.
So I just had to go to Walmart to get more boxes. But one thing that I've been meaning to get for a long time is a folding table. It's what I need to ship, but I'm so cheap that I was literally packing everything on the floor, sitting Indian style, and I finally did it. I sold a couple things, this breaker being one of them, 25 bucks. We have this Disneyland game. The copper wire I sold the other day, the guy finally paid this morning like he said he was going to. And then also I sold this microphone for like 11 bucks plus shipping.
All small sales, but I was happy to see it go. And then the next day,
so I sold 2 board games today, which I'm about to wrap up. But I also did sell these Ubiquity security things. I don't know exactly what they're called. So this was actually the main thing that cost the most amount of money when I went to that security place. So I sold 3 of them for just over 200 bucks.
Oh yeah, great score. Now what's crazy is these had been listed for over 4 months at this point, and I hadn't sold a single one. And overall, while week 2 was fairly uneventful, it was just enough to boost my morale back up and make me hope that week 3 would be a lot better. Week 3 started off strong.
I had 2 sales last night. One was for 45 Zin codes for 75 bucks. That faucet that I had, that sold for 56 bucks. I just sold those headphones. Somebody offered me 35 bucks.
But even with the good news, I had to turn my attention to some more unlisted inventory.
So I still have those two road cases. I want to disassemble both of those today.
So I got to work. Just a couple screws to pull out the rack mounts. each one of these components would be sold separately, but then I could also resell the road cases themselves.
So I just got done taking a shower and found out that this sold. I was actually going to bring it over to the storage unit today. It was 57 bucks.
Not bad at all. And then later that night,
For the first time in the video's history, we're going to meet a buyer from Facebook Marketplace.
I had 4 flutes left out of the instrument lot I bought in month 1.
So what do you want for all 4 of them, or how would you divide them?
I want to sell them all at once.
Okay, what do you want for them all?
I want 180 for all of them.
'Cause I have 125 as a budget right now.
If she's gonna, like, you know, they're gonna go to like kids that can't afford it.
Kids that can't afford it.
Yeah, all right, I'll do 125.
You'll do 125?
Yeah.
So I just did the math. The fees would have been 24 bucks, and then I'm guessing shipping would have been about 15. That would have put me at right about 130. So 125, I guess I wasn't being all that altruistic.
But we still have more work to do.
So we have these 2 things to ship out.
And then the next morning,
Road cases I took apart the other day. I'm gonna clean them up and I'm gonna get them listed on Facebook Marketplace. I sold 3 door levers this morning, which I need to get packed up, and I'm gonna go do right now. $45 plus shipping.
and while I packed that up,
I got an offer for a radio receiver. It doesn't work, but the offer was for 40 bucks. It's been sitting around for a long time with no activity, so I just took it.
and that wrapped up the day's sales. But the next day,
So I actually just sold 2 more of those Ubiquity 150 plus shipping. And luckily I have this box, which is gonna fit these almost perfectly. I sold another coin roll for 22 bucks plus shipping. Then I'm selling a board game for, I think, like 18 bucks. And I sold another part of that air fryer, I think 18 bucks as well. The road case I listed the other day for 65 bucks. There's a guy that asked me if I would deliver it for him for another 20. So I'm gonna do that this afternoon. So I was supposed to come meet this guy, walk into the garage door and go down to my basement. I'll be down there working. No. So I've been here for 15 minutes, knocking on the door, sending the guy Facebook messages, rang the doorbell. Dude, I'm not going into some random guy's basement. What a fucking waste of my time. Well, at least this guy lived like a half a mile from this super big Goodwill. Looks busy as. And when I walked through the doors, I would not have ever imagined what I would find inside. Goodwill was a total bust. Nothing in there, and there's all people in there pushy and everything. That's why I don't like going to these places. The guy said that was downstairs working, didn't hear me, and so I'm going back over there now. That went off without a hitch. The guy was actually a really nice guy and was downstairs in his basement, which is a recording studio. That's why he couldn't hear me. I'm at Granger right now. I know some of you guys have told me to get boxes from here, so we're gonna go in and check it out. They had some good deals on certain boxes. So I got 4x4x4 and 8x8x8, which are 2 sizes I don't actually have. So overall, a pretty productive day, but then the next day, this reel-to-reel tape machine sold 65 bucks plus shipping. And while I packed that up, I began to reflect on some major mistakes I was probably making. I'm a cheapskate. There's certain things that I need that I should invest in. So one is the scale. Somebody already donated for that, and I just haven't bought it yet. Another thing is a light box. So I went ahead and ordered them. All right, I just ran out for a minute. And while I was gone, I sold another Lutron switch, and I'm super excited about it because those 4x4x4 boxes I know are going to be perfect for it. It was a little bit too tall to fit, so I had to kind of extend it up a little bit, but it only took a second. So overall, week 3 was great, but stick around because week 4 got even crazier. First morning of week 4, I sold 4 of these Ubiquity for another $3.20, so not bad at all. So while I was packing up all that stuff, I sold a broken CD player for 25 bucks. I also sold a couple pieces of glassware that day. And at this point, rather than shipping every item as it's sold, I started only packaging once or twice a day and doing it all in batches. Much quicker. So I sold a door handle earlier. I'm kind of waiting to pack it up because my new scale is arriving today. Very, very big thank you to Mr. Man, I think his name is, who donated for me to get a new scale. Oh, I just got my new scale. I was up here straightening up and I wound up selling this weighted blanket. 25 bucks plus shipping. But the positivity didn't last long. I just saw my phone go off and somebody opened a return. It was the faucet that I sold doesn't fit. That's the reason for their return. It doesn't fit their project. So I messaged them and I said, hey, look, if it's opened at all, which I'm sure it is, I'm not gonna give you a full refund. Now, I haven't listed anything today because my new photo box is coming. I'm excited about getting it and not having this backdrop anymore and that work light. I finally got this set up. Look how big this is. It's huge in there. You can put almost anything. Yeah, look at it. I'm sitting inside of it right now. I didn't really think about how much space it would take up. And then later on that day, I found out that you can turn on direct offers on Reverb. So I put it on every single one of them. And by the time I got here, I wound up selling a microphone for like 45 bucks. So it's like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and no sales today. These days are just so boring. Even if I'm doing the same amount of work, it's just like the worst. think I'm addicted to the dopamine rush.
But being the degen I am, I could feel my phone was getting ready to pay out.
I actually just sold a PV, it's like $207 plus shipping.
Check, 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 check.
These mixers are built for durability, so really the main thing you have to protect is the faders and buttons and pots.
All right, so that obviously took a ton of like bubble wrap. This is a $300 order. So if you buy something for $300, you're gonna want a little level of service. My name is on every single box that leaves here, literally.
So put some pride in your work.
Check, 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 1, 2.
I've been testing electronics this morning. I got most of them knocked out. But luckily, I just sold more Ubiquiti stuff for $180. My listing process have gotten a lot more efficient.
The first thing I do is test all the electronics in one spot. I use masking tape to mark a note of any sort of issues or problems with the unit. Then I pile all the units next to my tent where I'll start drafts for each one of the listings, and then I can just simply pick them up, put them in the tent, take the photos, and we're good to go. So much faster.
And those listings can just go live every day. And then up here is my work area. So this is where I have my packing table.
And at this point, my process got way more efficient.
Investing in efficiency is something I think you should hold off on until you're a little bit later into the business like I did. Number one, it's less money that you can actually spend on the things that actually make your business work, like inventory, shipping supplies. Number two, the one commodity that all entrepreneurs share is time. And in the beginning, you have a lot more time. Number three, you really don't know what you need or even what you're going to want to use until you've done things backwards for a long time. You know, you might look at something on the internet and say, wow, that's great, but you really don't know if it's going to work in your process for what you're actually going to do until you're doing it.
This whole afternoon I was over helping my dad, but while I was there, I did sell exterior doorknobs for $95 for free shipping. Alrighty, so these two are all banded up, but I need one more.
Not a bad ending to the week, but we're not done just yet. That's right, we got a whole nother week for you.
Sold one of these things, Ubiquiti things.
So I packed that up and brought it to the post office where the faucet return was waiting for me.
We can open it. I refunded 65%, which is everything minus 35%, which I thought was generous. I'm still gonna lose a little bit of money. But then also I just got a message a minute ago from a guy who said, so those Lutron switches, he's saying I sent the wrong one and that it was used. But I sent him 2 pictures. Yes, but the one that was in the box was a used. And he's like, you need to either send me a replacement or return my money. The thing is, I went through all those when I first got them. Now there is a slight possibility in my mind that I did make a mistake. I mean, that's always a possibility. So I'm not being forceful with him yet, but I'm hoping that he will provide me the evidence that I need to conclusively say, you're trying to f me.
But then just a few minutes later,
Guy threatened negative feedback. I asked him if he wanted to return it, and he said, no, I'm just going to keep it, and then I'm going to leave you negative feedback. I said, I give refunds when the item's returned. I reached out to eBay for business. This month was going too positive, so at least this guy gave me a little bit of negativity to add to the roller coaster of emotion. So eBay for Business finally got back to me. So we have a clear-cut case of feedback extortion. Read those messages and said, that's not feedback extortion. Oh my God, I got so lucky. I've been editing all day and really haven't had any sales. Or actually, I haven't had any sales. But I completely forgot that I was supposed to ship these 2 packages from yesterday today. And I was like, it's 4:35 right now. That's completely skipped my mind. I'm up here editing. I just heard my cash register go off, and I sold 3 of the faucets that I bought from that lady for $240. Supposed to go back there today as well. 24 smoke detectors, I think. So yesterday I sold a pocket saxophone. Basically it looks like a in between a recorder and a clarinet, but it has a reed. And I bought one of these a long time ago. I thought it'd be fun. I never really messed with it. $40 plus shipping. And I also sold one of those power cords. $20, I think, free shipping. And then the last thing I sold, combination DVD VHS players.
so I packed up all those orders. But then later that night, I decided to try something new.
Just about to do my first ever Whatnot show. I just started off, I just went and grabbed some of the coins to go, I'm kind of nervous, but I just kind of have to, because I don't understand it. I guess I just got to try it a few times.
My phone I'm being used, I can't use that. So I'm gonna have to film on the webcam of my laptop. This is my first ever Whatnot live stream. Original bankrupt rolls and some errors, and we're gonna go through that one by one. I think I probably have 5 or 6 things. I don't know if we're gonna get through all of them. I don't know how to actually start the auction. I didn't even add any of the listings.
I'm terribly sorry.
That's right. I started a whatnot auction with nothing listed to sell.
So you saw how that went. That was terrible. And I thought you could just go on there and start pulling stuff out of thin air. Who wants it? I'm getting rid of it. All sorts of stuff like that. But no, doesn't work that way. You gotta manually enter every single listing beforehand.
Rather than sulk on the embarrassment, I just added the listings and started another show.
Earlier today, I sold these two Elisa's MIDI-verb units that I had. They're both of them, I couldn't test them because I don't have any power cord. Just selling them basically as parts units, two of them for $160.
So a solid ending to the month, but how much did I make?
But first, a big thank you to today's video sponsor, Flyp. And if you guys have been following the channel for any amount of time, you know that I've worked with them in the past and I've continued to use their product since April. Flyp allows you to take listings from eBay and cross-post them to other platforms such as Poshmark, Mercari, Marketplace, and now Depop. The main ways I use Flyp is I pretty much cross-post everything to Mercari. Another huge thing that it really helps me out with is cross-posting to Marketplace, especially anything that's like heavier. I just import the listing from eBay and then I cross-post it over on Marketplace for like $10 or $15 less. Things such as like stereo receivers, speakers that most people don't want to pay the high shipping on. They're really easy to move over on Marketplace. So it's been a huge, huge help for me in that regard. Once the listing's imported, you can literally post it on every other platform that it's supported all at once. It's super easy to use.
And best of all, Flyp is only $9 a month. But if you sign up using the link below, you'll get 100 days completely for free.
So, in all of month 6, after buying new inventory, paying fees, paying for shipping, returns, refunds, I made a grand total of $2,867.39. I think that's probably is that the biggest month? But also, this was a little bit longer than the other months. Every other video up to them now has been just 4 straight weeks. And this time, I just wanted to catch up to the next calendar month. So then going forward, I could just be on calendar months. That's why this has like that 5th week in it. It just makes it a lot easier for me to be like, oh, how much should I make in August versus like how much should I make in month number 7, and have to go back and coordinate dates and then also line up the clips and figure out where I started and where I... It's just too much. So whatever, I just did it this month, and moving forward they'll all just be simple calendar months and I don't have to think that much about it. Yeah, it was not bad at all. I got rid of a lot of stuff.